Just a boy from East Tennessee. Just got God, my family, and me. Work my fingers down to the bone is the way I was raised and the way I was shown. Southern life is the life of me. It's the way I'll always be. Southern life is the life of me. It's the way I'll always be.
Manage if he didn't want in on my video.
You don't want to be a part of it? You might sneak in there and get her in there before the night's over.
I'll get her snoring here. She snored.
Well, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this is episode 2 of the podcast. And real quick, still looking for some names of the podcast name. I've had a few people in the last video. I had a few people come up with some names. Somebody said the A Little Southern Podcast. Then somebody said the Stay Country Podcast or something like that. So guys, if you still have any names you just want to throw out there in the comment section to name the podcast, let us know. Open for suggestions. And yeah, that's about it. Smash a like on the video. We've got Paul here in this video today, so give a big like for Paul being in the video. Watch the whole thing, and you'll walk back into this. Also got Dad here again in this video. I've kind of just hired him to be co-host of the podcast, so maybe we can make him a permanent part of it. But thank yous for all the ones that watched the last podcast. It's turned out really good. Got a lot of positive feedback on it, and I'm just excited the way this podcast is going. So we're going to hop into this episode number 2. Like I said, we got Paul here, Paul Buck. We've been wanting to get him on here for a while now, and tonight we made it happen. So, you excited? You excited?
Yeah.
Excited? Well, let's just go ahead and hop into them. Just kind of tell them who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, well, everybody calls me J.C. Buck, and about all the work I've done has been sawmill work, logging, mules, and tractors, and my first job was on the tail end of the sawmill, catching the slabs and the strips, and I wish then I'd went back to school instead of went to the sawmill, but I liked with it that way, and then I got a job in Chattanooga. I thought I would never want to work at sawmill and logwoods anymore, but I worked down there a while, and then I went back to working at sawmills and logging, and then I got to sawing on a sawmill, and I sawed for 14 years for one feller, and about a year for another feller, and then got to working for myself, and me and another fellow together, and we done pretty good. We done a lot better than work for ourselves than we did working for somebody else, you know. But we had a lot of problems with breakdowns and stuff. That was the worst part about it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a reoccurring theme in logging, breakdowns, ain't it? Everybody has breakdowns.
Yeah, the breakdowns, and you have to be careful pretty careful in the woods. You can get hurt pretty quick. And I had a limb to knock me down. They said I was seeing stars, but I don't know if it's stars or not. But it about knocked me out. But it didn't hurt me none. Didn't bring no blood. And in a few minutes I got up and went back to work. And I guess that's about it. I turned the tractor over once and it like that got me, but it didn't get me either.
That was another one of them tricycle front ends, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about that last podcast, that we use a tricycle front end. They are a little easier to turn over.
Yeah.
Then here not long ago, I was going to the dumpster and talked a little hell, and there come a big old gravel truck right at me head on, and I didn't know hardly what to do. Well, we were getting pretty close, and I finally warped off in a driveway at the credit union. We missed, and I sure thank the Lord for that.
You had never banked there before, but you was glad it was there anyway. Wasn't it?
Yeah. I went in the exit instead of the where you're supposed to go in. I went in the exit right where you come out at.
You wasn't worried about that, was you?
Yeah.
You said you used to work in a place to make golf clubs there for a while?
Yeah, we made golf clubs in Chattanooga, professional golf company. I worked down about 3 years, I guess.
Well,
But I got tired of Chattanooga and I wanted to be back Common County or Fences County one, so.
That's the same thing I done. Went to Georgia and just didn't want to move down there and didn't want to drive either, so I come home.
I've played enough golf to know I'd say I'd be a lot better at making clubs than swinging one. I ain't no count of swinging one much.
I'm not either.
I can hit one pretty good, but you don't know where it's going to go, and you better get down whenever I hit it because it's liable to come after you.
I played a little golf when I worked down there at Par 3. At 9 holes. Me and Hack Walker down there, we used to go out there about 2 or 3 evenings a week and play. We got to play for free because we were working at that golf factory. We didn't cost nothing to play, so we'd go out there and play probably 2 rounds around it. And I got to where I could do fairly good. But then after that, I never did play more golf. So I couldn't do no good at all now.
Was that one of the benefits?
Yeah.
I'm talking about benefits. I guess that was one of them.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that always gets me about golf is I'm not too bad whenever I first tee off, you know. But whenever I get up there around the green, I'll hit it 5 times before I ever get in the hole. The ones that kill me is when you hit the hole and it just runs around the side of it and shoots out the other side. Them right there just burns you up, don't they?
I hit one hole in
Hole in one?
hole in one time when we were playing down there. I hit that thing and it went right straight in on the green road. I didn't know.
If I'd have hit one of them, I'd probably just quit.
That was just accident for me. I guess I run over here do it no more.
Oh boy. Well,
Was your Ezra's how long have you been logging in your family? I know Ezra was through with Sawmill, your dad.
Yeah, that's my daddy. He's sawmilled and well, he farmed a little bit too, but mostly about all he done was sawmill on log and stuff. And I used to skid logs with a mule. And when I was about 12, 13 years old, I was skidding logs with a mule.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we load them by hand up. Roll them up skid bows by hand.
Yeah.
Of course, there was me and Daddy and my 2 older brothers, 4 of us. We could load pretty big logs. But
You know something that's amazed me is, like you said, with Connor and Isaac helping me at 11 and 13, people think that's pretty good. Something impressive today, so to speak, but that's just the way we was raised.
Yeah,
that's the way Mom and Dad taught us young. We was in the woods working and sound like the same thing as you in the woods working at young age. I just thought that's the way everybody done. That's the way we was raised.
Yeah, that's the way we was raised. But I got to where I loved to log and sawmill till I got to where I just wasn't able to handle the job.
Yeah.
But my back, I can't run a chainsaw in 15 minutes now. I'll have to set it down. My back just won't stand it.
I think that's just kind of crazy how everything's changed just in the past 50, 60 years. Back whenever you was growing up, I'd say it was real odd whenever kids wasn't out working, you know, and they wasn't out doing something. But now, whenever kids are doing something, that's odd. You know, just in the past 50, 60 years, people comments on their videos all the time, and they're always saying, I can't believe them boys is out there in the woods with you all the time, logging and doing all this stuff. But I'd say back whenever you was young, people were saying, well, that's odd, that kid ain't done a thing today, you know.
Well, I didn't tell Daddy I wasn't going to go because you'd get a whooping to go anyway.
I think that's a rare thing anymore now. You don't see many whoopings going on.
No.
It wasn't an option so much as it is today.
But I'm glad he did make me work.
Yeah.
We had we was raised poor. We had usually raised about what we eat too.
Yeah.
And then what he made the sawmill for just to clothe us and
Yeah.
have us some shoes and
Yeah.
stuff to wear.
Well, it's kind of going off of that. Did you have something you want to say?
I just gonna say, like, I'm sure today that we wish we could get more money out of logs, and we always want more, but
Yeah.
I think something's probably be amazing that's changed is from when you started as a kid, the price of lumber or ties or logs was a lot different than it is today.
And Daddy said when he first started a sawmilling, he got $2 an eye for a 7-9 cross down. That's the big one. What's $40 now or something, I guess.
Yeah, they went from 2.5,
$2.
$2.50 to now a 7-9 is probably $32.50 at last I sold. It might be a little higher. I'm not sold none lately, but that's just the change from today to then is, what is that? About a $30 increase.
Yeah.
But the cost of everything's higher too.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah.
figure that.
It's probably no difference in how much money you make off from it.
It's still what you get to bring home, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Daddy bought timber for $10-12 thousand stumpage. Right then, but I mean, they thought them people thought they was getting big money out of it. And
what was lumber bringing back when you around that age? What would you get out of
I
it?
guess the bass probably didn't bring over $40 or $50 thousand or something. That'd be oak,
Yeah.
and pine wasn't that high, but pine, like I say, is going pretty good now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'd say one of the big things that's a big change from the time he started, time he quit, was the increase of what lumber brought.
Yeah.
But the increase of what expense, gas, and diesel was a cook coal oil, whatever you use in them tractors, and
Yeah.
mules. You had hay and corn, but
Yeah.
but that's all increased now. If you went and bought you a good pair of horses today to work with, I bet you'd give quite a bit for them.
Gasoline was just 25 to 30 cents a gallon when I was young. I mean, when I was probably 18, 19 year old, gas was about like 30-35 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
I mean,
What could you buy a chainsaw for back then when they first come
I
out?
don't know,
Don't
but
remember?
I'd say they wouldn't probably over $100, I don't guess, for a new one. But when Daddy first got his chainsaw, he didn't much believe in the cross cuts. He always wanted something a little better. But
That's what we was trying to think of the other night was a
Yeah,
cross
cross
cut.
cut,
I
yeah.
could not think of a cross cut. But
About how long would it take a feller? Well, let's say you got a pretty big sized tree, and you had a cross cut saw with 2 fellers on one. About how long from time you started to time that thing fell down?
well, I don't know. Some people can pull them pretty rapid, and they cut pretty good. But boy, it's hard work.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've never even tried nothing like that. No.
Like you go to them logging shows now, and them people will cut it off as fast as a chainsaw will, but they can't make many cuts like that though.
no, it lasts long. Maybe.
No, it don't last long at it.
That chainsaw is ready for another, and them boys
Yeah.
don't want to
Yeah.
drink of water, don't they?
But, those times has changed a lot. I'm 77 years old, and when I was 16 or 17 years old, the times was, I mean, you could do pretty good. It didn't take no money much to live on, and
Yeah.
you could buy you $1 worth of gas and old car. You could run around long down on it now. You couldn't you couldn't get to Clark Range down here on $1 worth.
I think that's probably $1 and something now to store, ain't it?
Yeah.
A drink like that's 89 cents or better.
The cheapest I seen these Pepsis was a dime.
Dime?
They was a dime, and the bottle Pepsis was a nickel. They went up to 6 cents, and more people just griped about they went up a penny.
Most people nowadays are too lazy to pick up a dime.
Oh yeah.
They won't even bend over and pick one up. You know,
No, don't you have to would.
a lot of them won't. They know they've got a check coming in the mail worth a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Just kind of going off that. What's probably the biggest thing, or maybe you can name a few things, but what's the biggest thing you think's changed with the country as it is now from whenever you was growing up?
Well, back when I was young, it seemed like the Democrats, they seemed like they was for the working people more than
Right.
a lot more than Republicans was.
Mm-hmm.
But now the Democrats, they don't care nothing about you no more. They don't care whether you make any money or not. And the Republicans like Trump, that he was the best president I ever seen that I could remember.
Yeah.
Presidents. I mean, times were better under him, and prices stayed stable. But everything's changed so much, and like vehicles, they all computerized now. Everything's computerized, and they wouldn't know. I didn't never know what a computer was till I was grown.
Well, have you heard of them vehicles called Teslas?
Called what?
They're called Teslas. That's the name of the vehicle.
Oh no, I never.
And this guy who makes them was named Elon Musk, and he them things will drive themselves. And I don't mean just like for little ways. Like if you put them things on self-driving mode,
Yeah.
they're supposed to be able to drive from here to Nashville, and you never even touch the wheel. I mean, it's just crazy. Like you can go and park your car in Walmart parking lot at the very end down there, and you walk out of the Walmart, hit the button, that thing comes and picks you up at the door. And I was listening to a fella talk about one of the things one day, and he said that something happened to it, and he went to go have it worked on, and he went to about 3 or 4 mechanics. They just laughed at him. They said, "You have to take that thing to the computer shop to get it worked on. We can't do that thing. Ain't nothing but wires and just microchips and all that kind of stuff, you know." But they're 100% electric.
I seen a delivery truck on TV once to watch it, and it was going and making stops, and the man would get out and deliver it, and he wasn't having to drive it. The truck was doing it himself. And I mean, I'd be afraid to ride in it.
Oh, I would too.
It might change his mind somewhere.
I can go along with Jesus take the wheel, but I ain't gonna turn it loose to the.
No, I ain't either.
He'd stop at red lights.
Yeah.
And when it turned green, he'd take off. Yeah, I've seen that.
They had a few accidents with them starting out. I don't know if they've had any more, but
I just wonder how high the insurance was on them, because, I mean, if you go out to Farm Bureau and, well, you ain't the one driving this thing, it drives itself, I may have to jack that insurance up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But something I've always kind of been worried about was something that's smart enough to stop at red lights and to go at red lights and to know what the speed limit is.
Yeah.
If that thing ever got half a mind to take off on its own, I guess you just better buckle up, because you're going wherever it wants you to, you know? I mean, because
Yeah.
the way technology is going,
And
they're going to end up making something that's going to be able to make its own mind up, you know? And that's just, I don't know, I've heard people talk about that. You know, it's artificial
think
intelligence.
about people that uses what is it?
Drones?
No, on your car, that tells you how to drive.
Navigation.
Navigation, yeah. And a lot of times it'll send these people that are driving down a wrong road.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that was a car that was programmed to follow that direction, it probably would never stop, you know. And
Oh, no.
no.
I've heard of them taking off down roads at dead end, just keep going, just getting it. You know, people would stop where
Yeah.
I don't know what a car
Well,
would.
there's a bluff. I'm going to hit the brake. Well, that car don't care if he goes over a bluff or not, but I do. You know?
You know, it just keep following that direction it thought he was supposed to go. I don't know. I'm not going to go that route if I don't have to.
Yeah.
But insurance, when I first started insuring a vehicle, like liability, it cost me probably $30 over 6 months. And now it costs me, for the liability on my truck, cost me $101 over 3 months. There's a lot of difference in price.
You know, in the farming even, I watch them videos where they've got they'll set them tractors on auto
Yeah.
steer, and they never touch them till they get to the end of the road.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think they have to turn them around, then set them back. I think I heard them say, but they just have a lot of technology come around, ain't they?
Yeah, well, the world is absolutely turned around to what it used to be.
Yeah. And not that long a time either, really, has it? I mean,
And them old cars and trucks are simple to work on. I mean, you wouldn't no problem find out what's wrong with them. You just had to either, if it wouldn't run, it was either out of time or need plug points or something, or it'd start right back up. But these computerized, you can probably change 50 things on them and never fix them. If you don't have something to show you what's wrong with them.
It amazes me on a big old piece of equipment like in logging or anything. you can have a massive piece of equipment, all these big moving parts, and a little old sensor on some of this new stuff will shut the whole machine down,
Yeah.
and it won't do nothing. And you know, it ain't always the big parts. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing that something so little could shut the whole big picture down. You know.
I don't know. My truck, I've not had no problem. That's one I've got now. I've not had no problem with the computer or nothing, but I had that Ford Ranger computer burn up in it, and I put another in it, burn up in it, and then took it down there to that mechanic, and he said, your computers you got in, it's got the wrong numbers, and you need the first one that come out of it. Well, I took it and ordered me one. I didn't have more trouble with it till I let my boy start driving it. He busted his radiator roll, kept driving it and turned the motor in it. And but
Something I think is kind of crazy about technology and like just talking about weapons and stuff like that, you know, like the way that we fight war now, a lot of times you don't have no troops on the ground, you know, it's just all from control, missiles and stuff like that. From what I hear is all this nuclear missiles and stuff we got now, the whole world get wiped out if everybody shot their nuclear weapons at each other. The whole world will be gone. You know, I mean, that's just crazy amounts of power we have now. That's dangerous stuff.
But back when I was a boy, we hunted a lot too, and we come in with 4 or 5 squirrels from home, cooked them, and killed rabbits, and we cooked them. Cooked them. We eat a lot of squirrels and rabbits, but they taste too good.
Yeah. When's the last time you've had something like that to eat?
It's been a long time.
Has it?
Yeah.
One thing I think we've sort of changed to a point. Not everybody. It don't affect everybody that I will hear this probably, but used to people live to survive.
Yeah.
Now we live to gain
Yeah.
what we can store up. You know,
Yeah.
totally different. These people out there, I'm not saying that even poverty level, still struggling just to survive. But so much of it's middle class and up. You know, they're not living to survive. They're living to store up, so to speak.
But
Make something to
a
themselves.
lot of people over there, they'll have a big bunch of money and they don't want to spend a penny of it. And I've heard people starving to death have plenty of money of it. I mean, that's what it's for. If you ain't gonna use it, ain't no benefit to you.
Yeah.
But some people's got money, and then some people money's got them.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where even the Bible teaches us that the love of money is the root of all evil. So some people, I've seen some people that's got all kinds of it with, you know, not in bondage to it like the people that ain't got it.
Yeah. I was standing over her mama when she was sick before she died. I picked up a magazine, I was reading it, and there was an old woman. She'd go to Goodwill's and get all her clothes and everything, and just about practically starved to death. And when she died, she had over $1 million in the bank. Didn't have nobody to leave it to. Nobody to leave it to.
Well, speaking, if you have plenty of money to spend, we're going to get right into our first sponsor on this video, Yoder Brands Beef Jerky. If you guys want to get some Yoder Brands beef jerky for yourself, we're about to have the code you guys can use in the little, well, what am I going to call it here? What did I call it last time? Well, I'll have it in the description, but I also have this little break we'll have. We'll have a little break here. We'll get back into the conversation after this break's over, and we'll see you guys here in a minute. All right, guys, we're back from the break. Again, we'd like to thank Yoder Brands Beef Jerky for sponsoring us. Really appreciate that from those guys. And something I forgot to mention earlier. If you guys have any questions you guys want to ask us, I've got an email address. It's alittlesouthernhumor@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions for Dad, any questions for Pa, any questions for me, go email us some questions, guys. I'm going to start doing a segment in each podcast where we answer some of y'all's questions. Just maybe something you want to know about us, something just maybe a question for the whole group, who knows. So go if you want to email some questions, guys, that's the email address. You guys can send those questions to. And yeah, we're gonna hop back into the podcast. We had us a little break there. We all got us a drink of pop, and got a few snacks, and ready to hop back into this. So I guess
Go have a segment here. I'll ask you what equipment was your favorite. You don't have to go in and tell. Just mention what you like the best. You don't have to detail on why or whatever.
It wasn't the mule.
kind of like a speed round.
But,
What did you like better, the mule or the horse?
well, I know Daddy never did ever have a horse. He didn't never have a horse. He had a mule.
So I'd say mule for you.
But I liked it a lot better when it went to a tractor. But I liked the skidder, the log skidder that we had, that John Deere. If it didn't give, when it wouldn't tore up, I didn't like it at all when it tore up.
Yeah.
It gave a lot of trouble.
That's what I was getting at. What was the favorite or the best skidder you ever used? What brand?
Well,
Just that you thought was. Everybody's got their opinion. I ain't trying to start an argument. I'm just saying.
when I worked for Jack Hood, I drove a skidder for him. He had a tree farmer. It was a pretty tough old skidder. You know, it done good, and I like the Timberjack. I like the Timberjack, I believe, better than any of them, really. But John Deere, I mean, as long as it was going, I mean, it done a good job, maneuvered good, and had a good winch on it and stuff. But it didn't hardly ever go over a month. Well, something didn't break on it or something. Give a lot of trouble.
What was your favorite chainsaw? I mean, what?
Well, I guess the steel was. I liked them better, but I liked the Husqvarna. But we had two. Me and Arnold had two. We didn't have much trouble with them or nothing. And then we went to the Steels, and Daddy always had McCully's, and I didn't like them much, but we had to use them. And
They had never put the RPMs to that stuff like they have now.
well,
Nowadays, they don't get on with it. Won't they?
them older ones was gear drive, and the chain run slow. Had a lot of power. They'd kick out of your hands. I mean, but they started pinching, they'd come out of that log. But I've had them hit me on the legs, and that did hurt. But them gear drive, I mean them direct drive, where they went to direct drive with a change pipe. I liked them. He had a home light that done pretty good. They used to be about the leading saddle back when I was young.
Home light.
Yeah, home light.
Daddy had home lights.
Daddy, when Daddy never did have no steels, I don't think. But the steel, they wouldn't. I guess it was probably in the '60s. I guess maybe before there was ever any steels over in America. I guess it made in Germany then. But I mean, I like them. I didn't first ones I used. I didn't like them, but when they got to making them a little better and more powerful, I liked them good. They lasted good. And
Had you ever seen a Makita chainsaw?
Makita.
I was watching a YouTube video the other day up in New York.
You know,
That's where they're logging at in New York, somewhere up there. And I'd never seen a Makita chainsaw, and boy, that like it cut pretty good.
yeah. Well, this one man had a chainsaw. I can't remember the name of it. I worked for him, but he bought it at a hardware store somewhere, and it was a funny name. But that thing it cut good, and it lasted good too. I can't remember the name of it now. I wish I could, and I don't remember the name of it.
What's the best loader you ever used? I mean, and what did you like best to load with? That you.
I guess I like them cats like Buford had out there, and then when I worked out there at Pembroke, I didn't run it. I run a little bit out there, but I mostly stalled. I didn't run the loader, but one man Arnold had that Ford, and we had two Massey Fergusons, and then we had that one old Ford. I liked the Ford. I liked it pretty good because it was stouter than Ferguson was. Of course, it was bigger too.
Yeah, that's forklifts, wasn't it?
Yeah, forklift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can load with forklifts, and they reach high, but they don't hardly get around hardly.
No.
Mud, I guess, is good.
Yeah,
Unless you four-wheel drive. But
They don't go near as good in the mud and stuff either. Forklift, they're all that weight on the back end back there. If you get your weight, you've got something on the front, it'll go pretty good. But empty, they don't go good. And they do if it's dry, hard ground they do, but
Yeah.
they're, I guess, Mass Ferguson, they're pretty good equipment
Yeah.
too, and the Ford is too.
What different log trucks did you have? What was your favorite, so to speak?
I've had an International and Chevrolet and a Ford. I liked that Ford, that last one I had before I quit working. I liked it. Good. It had better brakes on it than any of the rest of them I ever had, and it pulled good too. But I got to where I wasn't able to work now. I just sold it and sold the sawmill, sold the skidder, and so I just give up logging, and then I worked some for you
Yeah.
after that.
I finished you off, didn't I?
Yeah.
I got him on the tail end, but
I just got to where I couldn't handle it. I mean, I could work a while, but if your back gets hurting so bad, you got to sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that one of them towels is a little bit left in there, just wrung it out,
Yeah.
finished you off there.
If I went to that chiropractor 10 years before I went, I'd have probably been in a lot better shape today.
Yeah.
He's helped me a lot, but I guess it's so long now. He told me that it just ain't wanting to stay back in place like it's supposed to.
Me and Jay, we was mechanicing on a Franklin skidder, and we pulled the motor out twice in one day.
Yeah.
We got it put back together, and we forgot to put something in, wasn't it?
Forgot to put water in it. You took off and left, and I went back. Oh, well, the first time we pulled it in, we had to take it back out on account of something.
We left something out and had to pull that motor back out and then put it right back.
We got it back in, and then you left going up through there, and I started out that skidder, and I got to smelling it. And I thought, we didn't put no water in, I shut it off, and then you could see me and stop, and you come back.
That's what they call third time the charm.
Yeah, that's what they call dummies, mechanics, I guess.
Yeah, we got down there and put it back the first time, and it wouldn't do what it's supposed to. And I said, "Well, what are we gonna do?" And he said, "We're gonna take it back out." I sure hated to hear that part.
Yeah.
One more. If I told you I could go out right now and buy you any vehicle, any truck, any car, any year you wanted, which one would you pick?
Well,
Out of any car, any vehicle, hot rods, trucks, whatever.
Well, I don't know if it's a truck. I'd probably pick a Chevrolet. I like the one I've got now. It's got 433,000, I know, on miles on it, and it's still running good.
Yeah. If mine gets there, I'll be tickled with it. If
Yeah.
mine gets that many.
But I mean, I've had pretty good Fords. But I like that Ford log truck. I liked it. It pulled good, and had good brakes on it.
Yeah.
That Chevrolet I had, it never did have no brakes on it much. And I put everything new on it. We put new booster and brake shoes and everything. It still didn't have good brakes on it. I don't know why.
Well, some things you just can't really get them right, can you? No matter how much you fool with them, there's always something off a little bit about it.
Arnold had one, and that's about the same thing. He had good brakes on it. Mine didn't. I don't know. They just wouldn't hold like you get it like that.
There's one story I want you to tell right here, and that's a story about the big chicken snakes.
Got the
The
what?
big chicken snakes.
Oh,
I want you to tell that story from the start to the end right here.
when we was up there working.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never was right after this. I think it scarred me because I mean I've never seen the likes of snakes in my life. And I tell you what, I mean, plus I thought you had lied to me because there wasn't just one, there was more. But I'm gonna let him tell this story right here.
Yeah.
I always get the biggest kick out of this, but
We was working at the tail end of his daddy's sawmill, and there's a big old chicken snake crawling out up there, and he seen it, and he went to screaming and hollering and jumped up on the lumber pile, and I took an axe, went over and killed it, and I said, well, there ain't no use of being afraid of these little old snakes. He said, well, that wasn't no little snake, he was big. And I said, that's probably the only one they are here. And the way we went on, I guess, 2 or 3 hours, here come another. He done the same thing. And I killed it. I put my arm around him. I said, we ain't afraid of them little old snakes. He said, Paul, they ain't little snakes, they're big. And then after that, he wasn't up there then. And I was working back there, and there's another big one come out of there, crawling across the floor over there, and I killed it. Never did see no more.
Well, I remember after you killed the second one, you said, they usually run in pairs, you know. But that third one, he was there somehow. I don't know if he had a pair or not, but I was just convinced that place up there was just infested with snakes. Because what it was a big old shed, what was that you call it? It's a big old shed with a big concrete slab floor. And there was in the corner of the building was a hole in the concrete, wasn't it? And I guess they was coming from under that floor, wasn't it?
Probably did end up under there.
That was a place where the water run out when they washed taters in.
Yeah.
Or it used to be a tater.
And I was convinced them drains were full. Just hundreds of them down there, you know, just big as anacondas. But I remember we sitting there working, and it's just like I turned around and seen them coming, and I just can't stand the way a snake crawls. Can you? It just makes my skin crawl watching one of them things go across the ground. I can't stand to watch them crawl. So, some of you may like snakes. If you do, whatever floats your boat, it don't float mine a bit. But I seen that big chicken snake coming across the floor. Was I about Connor's age at that time? Maybe a little bit older.
Somewhere in there.
Probably about his age.
Yeah, maybe about Connor's age, or maybe a little bit younger. I'm not sure, but and that big thing was coming across the ground. And Paul walked over there, just kind of looked at it, laughed a little bit, and whack! He got that, and he come over there and said, that's the only one there is. Well, it hadn't been long. I turned around, and lo and behold, deja vu, here come another. And he come over there, and he went over there I think what scared me more than anything was how you wasn't scared a bit of them. You just went over and laughed at them and just. But anyway, he got that one for me too, and he said, we ain't afraid of little snakes, hardly. And I said, they ain't little ones, they're big ones.
Remember that time coming out of the Baldwin Gulf down there? I was coming up a gravel road, and I seen a copperhead up in the road, and I eased over beside it. And I said, Landon, come here. And I laid him out, opened my door as I pulled up there, and I said, look down here. And he seen that copperhead, and he about beat the cab of that truck to death trying to get back. I thought, well, I might not artease him with snakes no more.
I never have liked snakes. I can't stand them.
I like to kill them.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of right there, that old saying, a good snake's a dead snake.
Yeah.
They're pretty good whenever they're dead. I mean, that's just the way I am. I'll always be that way, I believe. But, you got any more stories that you want to share? Any good stories? I've heard plenty of them over the years. I remember you said back whenever you was a teenager, you was driving a lot. You said that this goes kind of back to talking about how things have changed over the years. You know, roads are busy now.
Yeah.
It's like we live close to 127 right here, and I remember you said back on Rennie Stretch over there, you could line up and race cars there because you wouldn't have a car maybe 1 hour or something like that.
Well, we usually every Friday night and Saturday night we'd race up and down that Rennie Stretch. You probably wouldn't meet a car. I walked for 3 miles, and there'd never be one meet, and never meet one, or never pass one when I was a young boy. And we'd race up and down that Rennie Stretch, and I'd run 130 miles an hour down there and keep fuel away. I mean, for a trip.
Oh man. Well, what's that story? You said your mom hadn't been married long. You was watching the Trans Am, and you was driving it back from wherever you got it from, and you got passed by.
We was coming up the interstate on 40 down there, and I was just trying it out a little, and I got it up about 85 miles an hour, just cruising. I felt pretty big in that Trans Am, and here come a little old car around me, a 4-door, and there's about 4 girls in it, and they just blowed me off the road. They must have been running 95 or 100, and I didn't feel so big then. Yeah.
I was talking to a boy one time, he's out from Crossville. He said he was racing. I can't remember what it was. He had a Mustang or something out there, and he said he lined up beside a Trailblazer at a red light one night. And, you know, some of them Chevy Trailblazers got the SS in them, them Super Sport Trailblazers. Yeah. He said he lined up. I think it's a V6 Camaro too, so that didn't help nothing any. But he said he lined up against that Trailblazer, and he said he had some kind of exhaust on it, and he was revving it up. And they took off, and that Trailblazer just blowed his doors off. And said after it went by, he seen the Super Sport symbol on that Trailblazer, because you know they got Super Sport Impalas and Super Sport Silverados.
Yeah.
But he said that Trailblazer just blowed his doors off right from the very beginning.
You can't tell about how some of them will run. I mean, you could take them old flathead Ford, and you could take a flathead 6-cylinder Ford. One of them run just fast as the other would.
Yeah.
If the V8 beat him on takeoff, he'd get in front of him, but that 6-cylinder would ride his bumper. But you couldn't pass, and if a 6-cylinder got in front, that V8 couldn't pass it either. When they cut out the fight, they just couldn't do it. And 6 was the same way. They just and some of them 6-cylinder Chevrolets would outrun a V8 Ford, and them 6-cylinder Fords, and then some of them wouldn't. So you get a hold of some that's a lot faster than others is. I mean, them old cars were.
Anymore, them EcoBoost 6-cylinders and Fords, they've got all kinds of power. 6-cylinders.
Like
even Billy's car.
Travis has got that Ford. It's a 3.5 liter.
Yeah.
And it's about 350 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of horsepower for a small motor move. It's got them dual EcoBoost. I think it's got an overhead thing on both sides. And it's powerful.
Oh yeah, well that's like Billy's. The car he used to have, that Camaro, you know, it is a V6, but it beat a lot of V8 trucks. You know, I mean, it's just crazy how power has come over the years. Smaller motor, more power in it. You know.
Yeah.
But, you got anything else, Dad?
You know, Wade was telling us on some of the videos, remarks. Somebody said they'd like to be able to go back and sit with Daddy and talk on the porch and drink coffee and ask him a lot of questions. Of course, Dad went on to be the Lord and he's gone, but I hope tonight's been just a little step back into the past and able to talk to JC about some of the things he's experienced and how times have changed and all that. So that's something we still get to do with our older generation. We ought to put more stock in what they're here for. You know, we learn a lot from what they've experienced, and we ought to. Like the hard times, depression times, or maybe not next to the end of depression. Did you live through any of the depression?
No, I wouldn't.
You wasn't that old.
No, I'm not been in a depression. Daddy and Mama was.
Yeah. But you experienced trying times. It might not have been like the depression, but it's good just to take a step back and realize where they've come from. And
well, you'd think when the first job when I went to that golf shop, I made $1.25 an hour. And having to pay board down there and you bring home about $39 a week. But I had money to do what I needed to do on.
Yeah.
$39 would go further than 100 to go now.
Yeah. Well, if you offered somebody $1.50 an hour right now for a job, they'd laugh right in your face with it.
Yeah.
Or you get sued one, I guess.
I told my wife the other day, I said a quarter was worth more than $3. When I was a boy, it was worth more than $3 or $4 today. It is. It was.
Yeah.
You could buy you a Pepsi, a bottle of Pepsi for a nickel. You could buy you a bologna sandwich for a dime, and you could buy you a dime cake, and you didn't have to pay no sales tax on it. That was a quarter. And there ain't no way you can buy that for $3 now.
Yeah.
There ain't no way.
I wish I'd have been a courting back in them days. I'd have saved a lot more money if I was a courting back whenever you go out on a date for $1.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get into some more stories about whenever you was growing up on the next episode there.
Okay.
Save some stories for the next one there. That way we can get you on here again.
Well, my mind ain't as good as it used to be. I can't think of a lot of things I'll know, but I just can't think of what it is.
Well, you'll have plenty of time for the next, and you can write them down. We'll have them next time.
We'll write them down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I made the last episode probably a little bit longer than I should have, and it took me about 24 hours to upload it. Like Dad said the other night, we're getting some more high-speed internet, so maybe we can get them videos uploaded a little bit quicker. But we're really hoping to enjoy this video. We're sure glad Paul took time to be with us tonight and talk on here. And guys, like I said, smash the like button if you guys want us to get him on here again. And like I said, this is probably going to be a Saturday or a Sunday special. Probably a Saturday morning special. So if that sounds like a good idea with you guys, go in the comments and let us know. Like I said, we're still learning how to do one of these. I've got an idea of how to do one. But just like I said, it's still a work in progress. So if you have any suggestions for how we can make it better, we're open for criticism. You know, if it's constructive criticism, we're open for it. And we just thank you for watching. We really do. I'm thankful for all the ones that have come over to the channel. On my channel, been supporting me. It means a whole lot. If you haven't subscribed to Dad and the boys' channel, it's a Little Southern Brothers. Just type that in, and it'll bring it right up. Guys, go subscribe to them. They really appreciate that too. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. So guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.